Nintendogs.
Nintendogs. Those are simulators.
Tamagotchi. Almost 4 years ago, bro.
4 years ago. We're talking about a draw, Zach. Why are we talking about it? Because they did a good job on it. I don't care what you feel about it. I really don't. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Uneducation Station. Woo! Welcome, everybody. It has been a very long time. Where is it? It's over here now. Well, okay, no. No, it has been. It has been about a week. We missed a week because we weren't able to record for last week. It doesn't matter. Nobody fucking cares. Zach, we're back. Where's my camera? We're back. This is gonna be really weird. I'm usually not the person to, mention, set changes, to mention, thing, like the kind of the production stuff, right? Because I like to just kind of keep a constant flow and not really mention it. But it's a little hard to mention to not mention, the elephant in the room, that a lot has changed. Yes. As far as angles go, as far as, all that type of stuff. It's not permanent, but we thought, new year, new set. Yep. I think that's right.
In the same place with similar props.
Yes.
And it's just a little bit different.
It's just a little bit different, but it's still the same Uneducation Station. All sorts of madness. Zach, it has been a week. How has your week been?
Well, last week I worked one 12-hour shift and two 13-hour shifts. So that was fun. And then, I pretty much did nothing productive over the weekend, and then went back to work, worked 3 12s, and now here we are.
Damn. Hey, Yep. I wanted to say something, but hey, work, get paid, get money, all that type of stuff. Hey, it's fine. It's all good,
It's fine.
It's fine.
Yeah,
it's all good.
Everything's
Get money.
fine.
Do real people jobs, You gotta do what you gotta do. Man, work for me has been interesting because, we're back into school for a lot of kids. So the mall where I work at is not as busy as it used to be, but at the same time, what that means is that, okay, we don't have to put not as many people on staff anymore, Yeah. It's all good. We can hold back. But when it gets busy, we're like, oh, shit, because there's less of us as a result. But, it's all good, the type of things that just kind of happen, and then just keep her going. Jeez, I feel like I feel like I had a topic. I really do. But I don't. So this is gonna be really rough. This is a rough return back. What is new? What new has happened, Zach? What in the world of Zach has changed in the past couple weeks?
I got my hairs cut.
You did get your hair. Well, that's today, Zach. I got your haircut today. I mean, I'm not one to talk. I didn't do shit last week, but
So I was supposed to get a tattoo on last Sunday, or now 2 Sundays ago when this comes up. But it ended up getting canceled because of
cabbage.
No, not cabbage. I think she was just sick with something, just like a cold or something like that. And so now I'm kind of trying to figure out when that's going to happen.
Right.
Because that is going to be the tattoo that's going to cover like pretty much this entire space right here.
Oh, that's right. That's right. The big boy.
The big beefy boy.
That's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it'll be a lot of fun once we kind of get the ball rolling and once we're able to kind of get started, I guess.
So what I'm thinking, Zach, in my mind of this tattoo, I mean, you did get the boat tattoo, which is probably pretty significant as far as like, I don't mean by meaning, I mean literally like how much ink is being put on your skin.
Oh, yeah.
So in my mind, because this is a picture, it's basically just a rectangle of, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Of ink. So that's going to be quite the adventure.
So I guess a good way to explain it is there are 2 differentiations in the types of tattoos that you want to get, either color or black and gray. Right. Or the black work. And so what I've decided, at least for like this arm and maybe this one, I'm not really sure. But what I'm planning to do is mostly black work. So like a lot of black and really cool shading, those types of things. So in reality, there's going to be a lot of places where it's just like open skin to like represent the whites. And then, the different shading is going to kind of imply colors and actual like shadows and those types of things. And so that's the plan with this tattoo. And the artist that I'm working with is super cool. Like she hasn't been tattooing for like too long, but she's just an amazing artist. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to kind of figure out a way to blend it all together into one kind of cohesive thing with the tattoo that I already have.
Oh, is it gonna wrap around your arm? Like cover this tattoo that you have?
No. So the idea that I've been talking to you about, and the picture that I'm using is gonna cover like the back of my arm.
Yes.
And then what we're gonna do is I'm not 100% sure what we're gonna do, but there's gonna be, you know, like smoke or clouds or something like that that's going to end up blending it into different things that we're basically going to put around this thing. I don't know if you can see it. Oh, you can. Cool.
Yeah.
And so basically that's kind of the idea that I have, at least for like this part.
Right.
Which is going to be a lot of fun. And, you know, I know that the back of the arm definitely isn't going to hurt nearly as bad as like this part, because you know, the skin is super sensitive and, you know, it's not constantly getting hit by sun and, you know, bumping into stuff and all of that kind of stuff.
Right.
And also I'm gonna have to cover scars, which is going to be interesting, but you know, it is what it is. And I'm well aware of the fact that I very well could absolutely fuck up this tattoo if I just eat shit really bad.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Good luck, Zach. I believe in you, but geez, it's time to wear the elbow pads.
I mean, honestly, I'm not really riding as much as I used to, and partially because of the weather, obviously, because the weather's been shit. But also, I feel like even in the last, you know, like 6 months or so, I was kind of like saving myself in my riding. Like I didn't want to try anything too hard or eat shit too bad, because I wanted to be able to go rock climbing the next day or like in the same day or something like that. And so I'm less worried about getting injured when I'm climbing than I am when I'm at the skate park riding and doing that kind of stuff.
Right.
And so it's kind of been like a, you know, it's not the end of a chapter, because obviously I still want to ride because I enjoy it a lot.
Yes, of course.
But you know, it's just kind of one of those things where I'm not going hard, I guess. I'm not really doing the really sketchy stuff that I used to per se. I mean, granted, I'm still going to do sketchy shit, and you know the types of stuff that I do when I'm at the skate park. And
I do.
It's kind of terrifying.
It is very terrifying. Something that I would never do, but it's all good.
Yeah, that I mean, you know, I don't know, man. I'm just kind of weird.
You said it, not me. I bet.
I bet.
I'm chilling right here. I'm gonna stay in my cave. It's all good.
No, like the stuff that you do is really, really cool in its own way. And like I get really stoked whenever you show me like anything that you create or anything that you're doing. Like you built a keyboard and you showed it to me and I was like, this is fucking awesome.
Yes.
And you're like, yes, I know. This is...
We could have used it for the set for today, but I don't know. I mean, the cool idea would be, right, you know, after I'm super down into this hobby and I just have keyboards lying around. I already have keyboards lying around, but this time they'll be custom and shit, right? And then we'll just be like, hey, you know, what keyboard do I feel like using today for the podcast, Zach? Oh, maybe this one. And then Zach, oh, okay, well, I don't want to use this one today. And then we'll just interchange them because they all use USB-C and just be perfect. That would be the dream.
Bro, it's like the headphones.
It would be like the headphones. Here's the thing, right? I learned, okay, keyboard talk. I'm so sorry, but I've learned so much more since even the last time we spoke about it in this podcast. Like I've gotten so balls deep. Like not even balls deep, Zach. The balls are in. You know what I mean? That's how far it is. So I've begun to learn more about, you know, what type of keyboards, what type of softwares, and I've learned like this software called VIA, which is a fantastic software. Like, but you know, making macros and stuff on keyboards and such, it's, you know, it's always been kind of like you know, it's been a hassle. Yeah. Even if the keyboard, let's say it even has its own software, right? Yeah. So making macros for it is like a pain in the ass to do still. Sometimes it doesn't even work. And sometimes to do it, it's not even like its own macro. You have to press like I press L and I just do a different keystroke instead of like its own thing, right? As if it's like a Stream Deck, for example, right? This software called Via is like, nah, fuck that, bro. You do whatever the fuck you want, bro. I could make every single key just something different. And I'm like, damn, bro. So I'm having a lot of fun with that. Basically, I'm just doing everything in my power to never buy a Stream Deck.
You're like, honestly, I would rather build another keyboard, mod it, do everything like that, just so that I don't have to get a Stream Deck. And I mean, there are a lot of different ways to get around that too that don't involve just having another keyboard lying around.
Oh, no.
As one might.
There was an app called Touch Portal. There is, and it's a very powerful app, and I used it for a really long time. Fortunately, it borked itself somehow. I don't know why. I might have to just reinstall it, and I might have to redo all the stuff. I don't know what happened, but it's like it's like 20. I think it's like a $20 or so app. So it's like, but it's a one-time purchase, and you get what?
I was like, ugh.
What do you mean?
I mean, I don't know.
It's a lifetime.
Fair.
You buy it once and that's it. $20, Zach. You know what Steam Decks or Stream Decks cost? Like $100. And this one you just use on your phone. You go boop 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 boop. Listen, not everybody just has a launch pad like you, Zach. That just use as a macro pad. Not everybody can do that, but most people have their phone, and they're like, man, all I want to do in my stream is change scenes without having to alt tab, go to OBS, change scenes, go back to my game. Just press a button, and you can do even more of that if it wants to. So I thought that was really cool. I need to fix it again so I can get it to work. But yeah. Hey, Zach, another episode of Zach and Anuki talking about things a budget workarounds for expensive solutions.
Bro, it's so funny because like there have been episodes where we would sit there and just try to justify really poor life choices and purchases and those types of things. And then, like 2 episodes later, we would sit there and talk about how you can spend $25 on a keyboard, lube the switches, and then it turns into an entirely different keyboard.
Yep.
And, it's so funny seeing like the night and day difference between us talking about expensive shit and then us talking about like not as expensive shit. And I mean, honestly, I'm pretty sure you can find like the first generation Novation Launchpad for relatively cheap, and
Probably, yeah.
I got mine, I think it was for like $100, and it has like 100 buttons or something like that,
Right.
and all of them can be changed to do basically whatever you want. And so
like, I understand the purpose of a Stream Deck, right? Like it's cool, it's sleek, it has the pictures and the buttons, and it's really nice, and I get it. And it has its own functions as well. It's not just for switching scenes. It's for all sorts of things. Like even for like editing, for example. A lot of editors, they use Stream Decks, like the big boy ones, the XLs, literally just for hotkeys. You can do it with Stream Pad. You can do it for all sorts of things. Some people will have like a whole nother keyboard and just make it all macros.
Right.
Just to do it.
Just to
do it, And I respect that, but shit, man.
I couldn't be bothered with that shit.
Couldn't be
man.
asked, bro. But man, I think I've mentioned it before. I don't know if I did. I'm sorry, but since building a computer, my main thing, right, is building computers. Computer tech. That's like my big thing. That's my personal favorite thing. That's what got me into tech. That's what the knowledge of that I like to share with others. What I like to do. What I like to talk about. I love computers. That's my number one thing as far as tech goes. But frankly, no normal person can just build a computer in it. Let's go for it, Just build a computer. Just fuck it, dude. Because it's expensive as shit, even if you want to go low end. Now, keyboards, right, are still pretty expensive. Depending, right?
Yeah.
Nowadays, as I've mentioned before, you can do pretty well with cheap stuff. The market has changed. It's not as niche anymore as it used to be. That being said, let's say even if I were to go balls to the wall, buy like some $500, $600 keyboard buildings type shit, right? That would in that enthusiast market or field, that would be a really good, like a really sick ass keyboard, right? But that would be a shitty PC. if I were to spend that much money on that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're like, I got a Ryzen 3.
Hey man, this is pretty good.
I mean, that's fair, but like, you know, in the grand scheme of things, it's like, yeah, I got a Ryzen 3, 8 gigs of RAM.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, you could probably but then the graphics card, and we're like, oh shit, you know.
I got a GTX 970.
Those are pretty good too.
Dude, I was so pissed when I found out that the GTX 970 wasn't a 970.
Yeah, the one that you had wasn't. Yeah, that's so funny.
I found out years after I put it in my computer.
You got fucking ripped. Get fucked, Zach. Well, I guess you got it for free, right?
Yeah.
So I guess, you know, why not? But you did get pretty bamboozled.
But fuck you, guy.
That's what happens when you don't know. But that's okay. It's all good. What are you gonna do? And now it's powering the stream, the podcast PC. So hey, it all works out.
That thing is trucking along though.
It is trucking along. I didn't even clean it when I put it in. Like I should probably. I mean, it's just for video out. If I would have gotten like one of those dinky boys, right, just for video out if I needed to, for the podcast PC if I needed to, you know.
But you're like, fuck it, I'm a gamer. Put a graphics card in it.
Gotta do what you gotta do. But yeah, that's what keyboard building has been. It's basically just been my version of withdrawals of building keyboard or building computers, and also PC build simulator that I've been doing on my streams. Dude, that game is so much fun. I haven't played it in a while though, but now that I'm back to streaming and stuff, now that my schedule is kind of not solidified, but is a little more lenient as far as like me being able to stream pretty much like almost every other day, I suppose. I've been having a lot of fun, and I can't wait to just keep playing PCs. Simulators have been so like they've been popping recently,
dude.
Like PC building simulator, like gas station simulator. I've seen power wash simulator. Dude, I've seen this video of power wash simulator. They have co-op now, bro. That'd be so fucking funny to just like if we got power wash simulator and we just streamed it and just banted the entire time while just power washing a bunch of freaking houses. That would be peak, bro. That would be so much fun. Yeah.
I hope you know that now that you've mentioned this, like now that you've spoken this into the universe, it has to happen. And like
a couple bros power washing houses, you know?
But I think the funny thing is that it's not necessarily just because of, you know, Power Wash Simulator popping off. Like obviously, like, okay, cool, we're gonna go do something that is really fun and popular and cool and stuff. But also just imagine the types of things that we would randomly talk about. Just imagine if, say, we streamed for like 3 hours, right? Just doing nothing but power washing things. Just imagine if you jumped to any part in that stream, it would be entirely different.
Oh yeah.
It
would just be this, except we're power washing. It's so funny to think about. Why do I find that so funny? I don't know, dude. I think, well, part of it is definitely just like simulators. They've always been a thing, right? You know,
right.
Sims, that's technically a simulator if you think about it. Not really, but kind of in a way. You know, games where you, simulate activities, right? Jobs and such. And not even to like in a fun fact or like a in like a storyline matter or anything. It's just is what it is, right?
Yeah.
Those games have been around forever, but now I think definitely, you know, being locked up in your own house for a long time and stuff, and you're just like, man, fuck it, bro. Let's just. I mean, why do you think games like Farmville was so popular? You know, and those type of games, right?
Yeah.
The slow, grindy games, the build your community games, like Civ and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, why do you think those are so popular? It's just because it's mindless, but it's interesting, and you can do it. Like you can. Did you ever play like a RuneScape or anything like that back in the day?
I did play a little bit of RuneScape, but
not too much.
Not too much.
What kind of like grindy games did you play back then? You know?
Ooh.
You know, games where like you had to like play every single day in order to progress, you know?
Dude, there were a lot of...
And why is the answer Club Penguin?
It totally is Club Penguin. But I remember... Do you remember back... This was probably like 2009, 2010, maybe. There were a bunch of games on Facebook. Like...
Well, I didn't really use Facebook.
Yeah,
My parents didn't let me use Facebook back in the day.
Rude.
Facebook's kind of... I'm just kidding. I'm joking.
I mean, now it is. But it's like, dude, when it was in its prime, it was like...
My first social media was Twitter, and that was in like high school. So, you know. I'm out of it.
But yeah, there were a bunch of games on Facebook like farming simulators. You know, there was one where you had like pets and you would just you would have to like evolve your pets and make it so that you can make money off of them and
dude, Nintendo dogs.
Nintendogs,
dude. Games like that, right? Where it's just like those are simulators. Tamagotchi, bro. Bro, I've never owned one, but I thought they were so fucking cool when my friends had them. Oh my god. You know what I had? You remember the Pokemon ones?
I do.
They were basically Pokemon Tamagotchis. If you don't know what, okay, we should probably explain what they are.
Oh god.
Tamagotchi, I guess maybe a play on words of Tomodachi, which means friends, or friend, I suppose. They're just little pocket things, like little pocket devices, I suppose. And it had a friend, Tomodachi, you know, and it was like an animal, right, or some sort of thing, and you had to feed it. You had to go on walks, so you'd walk and shit.
Yeah.
You have to like, it's basically a pet, right? But you carried around in your pocket. It was the coolest shit back then. Like, let me tell you, bro. This was the shit. Everybody had Tamagotchis. Everybody had that Pokemon thing because the Pokemon one was cool. I like that one because you sync it with your game.
Yeah.
But that was first of all, looking back, that's actually pretty cool. Like being able to play. I think I don't remember if it was Game Boy or DS Pokemons. I think it was Game Boy Pokemons. But let's say. Actually, no. The Game Boy didn't have Wi-Fi or nothing like that, so it probably is DS. So let's just say it's like DS, right? And you had a Pokemon, and you want to walk around and shit with it. You connect it, you transfer it into this little device, you put it in your pocket, and you can just... It's with you. You have it.
Your little
Pikachu,
homie.
your little Pikachu with you. And you feed it, and you go for walks, and it levels up too in the thing, and you transfer back into the game, and like, damn, bro, hell yeah. It was cool. And nowadays, it's like Pokemon Go, except it's lamer. I don't know.
Dude, I think it's so cool when you have like those little... I think like the early 2000s were like the peak of portable anything, really.
Well, that's when they started becoming popular, because before that was like, you know, like the Walkmans and stuff, and that was like the introduction of like portable stuff, right?
Yeah.
You know, because... Well, I mean, they're like, you know, the cell phones and stuff, the Razor flips, but those were utilitarian. Those were just for calling and texting. You play Snake on it and shit, right? But as far as like media consumption, like that would be the Walkman and stuff, right? Come a couple of decades, right? Decades, right? Walkmans are old, right? Like 70s, 80s, maybe.
I think the 80s.
90s? Maybe 80s, 90s. I don't think it's that old because it's like previous generation than us, but not. Like long, I think.
Was that cassette or
no cassette? Cassette was before, was it not?
Cassette was definitely before like DVD.
Yeah.
And like
right. Cassette is more like. Oh, actually, maybe you're right. No, DVDs were like the our generation, and then just a little bit before our generation.
Like
so
CDs.
I want to, CDs and such. So I do want to say that would be a Walkman time. So like, let's say we have the power of Google, Zach. We can do that. Let me. Go ahead. Sorry. So let's just say 80s, 90s, right? Walkmans. And then now when we get to the 2000s, the digital age, right? The digital age becomes a thing, and we got MP3s. And what are we looking at? Oh, it
is definitely a CD player.
Yeah. Well, I know it's a CD player, but what year?
Let me look. When was the
Walkman invented?
Watergate.
Oh, I remember that. That's funny.
1979.
79.
So, okay,
like
wait,
80s.
no. This is
Oh,
cassette.
that's not.
This is cassette.
Walkman CD.
Sony Walkman.
Oh, you got it. Good.
Oh, yeah.
Costing. That's a cassette as well. It looks like. Or see, how much did the Walkman cost in 1985? So I'm just gonna assume like 80s, 90s, right? Damn! No way! The first Walkman TPS L2 costed 33,000 yen in Japan, or $200 in the US. But despite the relatively high price tag, the reception was enthusiastic. Wow!
So it was cassette. The first, the Walkman.
It was that expensive? I don't remember it being that expensive. Then again, I mean, it wasn't during my time, but I didn't think it was that expensive. Well, I guess, first of its kind, right?
Yeah.
So that makes sense. And, CDs were coming out, and CDs were the new cool thing. So, of course, early adoption type stuff, right? So that makes sense, I suppose. But damn, I'm just thinking 33,000 yen is $200 US. That's crazy. That would have meant like, I gotta sneeze.
Bless you.
That would have meant the Japanese yen would have been like, how much more is that? That's a lot. Because for us, $200 US would be like 20,000 yen, roughly. It's maybe like 22,000 yen, roughly, because the 100 yen is pretty close to $1. That's the easiest way we can think of to do that. I don't know. Nobody cares about that. Anyway, so what I'm saying is, right, in our time, when, that's when mobile use started to happen. That's when, the first iPhones and the first iPod shuffles and nanos came out, right? And if you're too broke for those, the MP3 players, which is what I had,
Bro, do you want to know something crazy? So I'm pretty sure the first generation iPod Classic came out in 2001.
Ooh,
I believe.
Really? So it quite literally is 2000s. Interesting. I'm gonna switch real quick.
Okay.
Oh wait, this one, right? Yeah.
Yep. There we go. Yep. November 10th, 2001.
Wow. So when mobile media consumption began, or digital mobile media consumption began, I mean, maybe the iPod Classic maybe wasn't the first one necessarily, but it's the one that, made it popularized it, right?
Yeah.
Became the thing. $400? No way. Hold on, did I read that right?
Yep.
They went on sale on November 10th, 2001. The first iPod had a monochrome LCD, liquid crystal display, which is pretty cool back then.
Wait, hold up. 5 gigs? That's a lot for 2001.
That is a lot for 2001. They sold like iPhones for like 4 gigs. Interesting. Well, featured a 5 gigabyte hard drive capable of storing 1,000 songs, encoded using MP3, and was priced at US $3.99. And I'm not talking about $3.99, ladies and gentlemen. That is 400 buckaroos, Zach. That's 400 cold ones.
Okay, see now I want
400 minties,
yes.
Zach.
All right, keep talking.
That's, dude,
that's insane. Okay, I want to look up
what?
How much are I'm trying to think of a way to explain like how much that would be now. Like in today's
like inflation.
Yeah.
Say how much is $300 or $400 in after inflation? You drop something?
Don't worry about it.
How much is $400 after inflation?
Fuck.
Or for maybe $400 2000 after inflation, maybe. 'Cause we have to pinpoint the time of which we want it to be.
Oh wait,
400.
400. Oh shit. 400 from 2000 worth
Today, tax. Today, Junior.
Jeez, I can't.
Tuna Turbo. A value of $400 from 2000 to 2022. $400 in 2000 is equivalent in purchasing over about $647.62 to date, an increase of $247.62 over 22 years. The dollar had an average inflation rate of 2.21% per year between 2000 and today, including a cumulative price increase of 61.91%, as per in 2013 dollars.com has to say, which seems to be like a calculator.
Inflation calculator. That's interesting.
You don't want to, but yeah, that's very interesting. Oh,
whoa.
Man.
Okay, this is getting to
a little bit. Oh, yep. All right, cool.
All right. Segues are weird.
That is it. The man. Okay. Anyways, where are we going with this? Basically, what I'm saying is, our generation was the first time to, or there was when mobile media consumption was popular, and that's why Tamagotchis were really cool because they were the first of its kind. Like it's basically the Nintendogs before Nintendogs was Nintendogs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, and I think it was really cool kind of growing up in the generation that we did. Oh, boomer talk.
Boomer talk.
Growing up in the generation that we did was super interesting because we were able to kind of see the evolution of tech over the course of time.
Mm-hmm.
And also we were able to appreciate a lot of different things that were only around for a short period of time, like Tamagotchis and the iPod Classics and, like VHS players and like just like a whole bunch of really, really cool tech that was innovation for its time. And now, looking at it with the hindsight of like nostalgia, it's like, oh, that was so cool. And I'm sure that if you and I both had like Nintendogs up on a DS right now, we'd be like, wow, this looks like shit. How did I think that this was so cool back in the day? Because things have grown so much since then.
They have.
And it's definitely been super, super interesting to...
There's probably a free app to do exactly what Nintendogs did at this point, right?
There's probably a Nintendogs app.
Probably.
But,
with microtransactions and season passes.
Wait, is it made by EA?
Oh, man. Oh, Lord. Man, I was having a conversation, more boomer talk, by the way, about like, subscription-based society that we live in right now, right?
Right.
No longer one-time purchase type stuff if you want, whether it be software, sometimes even hardware, even like actual hardware stuff, there's some things where you pay monthly subscriptions. And, it's just, I know a lot of people in our age, they hate that shit, and rightfully so, because if I had to choose, I would, as a consumer, right? One-time purchase is just perfect. You throw a bunch of money one time and you get the product. It's your product. You have the license to it. I understand the ethical argument of like, I own this product. Why do I have to keep buying it? Right.
Yeah.
I understand that. Right. But you have to, like, we talk about, businessmen, 100 floors high, looking down on the peasants that are us. Business suits, Zach.
Hey man, I have a business suit and I look damn good in it.
PowerPoint, Excel. We talk about that a lot. Right. And we talk about how they don't give a shit about us, Zach. They care about our money. And that's just how it is because, if you want to get mad at it, then if you're upset about how that is ran and you say, hey, that must go, then our economy will crash. So,
well, the reason why our economy will crash is because
we don't have a failsafe for, I don't know.
Well, we don't have a failsafe, and it's been a broken system for so long that if we try to fix it, we would have to start from square one again, which would mean that we would have to trade oranges for like rice.
Mm-hmm. But it's more of like the rice that we just have chilling. But it would just be like well, maybe not necessarily start from square one, but it would just be another gradual evolution back to where we want to, I guess, because there's always going to be reforms, right? Reforms are happening and the economy is changing as far as that goes. Right. Something that you and I don't really necessarily care to go into in that level, but basically what I'm trying to say is, let's say you, Zach, are the head of a company that sells something. Yep, we'll go with that. You're a head of a company that sells something. Would you rather sell your customers one thing one time for a really an expensive price, or would you rather sell that customer one thing for a very cheap price, but forever?
I mean, that's kind of a tricky moral dilemma that you start to get into because it's like
you're a businessman, Zach. You mean business. What is your answer?
Oh, dude, I'd suck them dry for every penny that they have.
Exactly, and that's just kind of how where we're at. It's kind of how that goes because we saw Netflix do it, and then we saw other streaming services do it, or streaming services pop up, right? Because they weren't really the thing back then, right?
Yeah.
They start doing it. People realize it's successful. They follow suit. Who's to say that there's not going to be another new business model that happens in a couple of decades? You know?
Yeah.
Who's to say? Why not? That we never would have thought of.
I mean, the hard thing is that when they make it exclusively for something that has that paywall where, like Disney Plus, Discovery Plus, Hulu, Netflix, Voodoo, if you're from, like 2005, there are like Netflix exclusives. There are, anything Disney or from the Disney properties.
Sure.
Like the properties that Disney owns, you can only watch them on Disney Plus unless you have a hard copy of it, which I can understand why they would want to do that. But at the same time, it's kind of like dickish in a way. It's like, cool. Yay. I love having to get through a paywall to watch childhood nostalgia movies like Disney movies and shit. But I can, it's
Zach,
hard,
But Zach,
the only thing that I want to pay for is my Twitch subscription to at Anuki Dio on Twitch, twitch.tv/Anuki Dio.
Yes, but anyway, thank you. But Zach, so you grew up. Did you have cable?
I did for a little while,
but you were more of like the media PC, right?
Yeah.
Did that end up consuming most of your like TV watching?
So it was
back then.
It would. I mean, my dad and I built that PC in like 2012.
Oh, okay.
So not like super long ago, but
still, then that 2010, 12 is still age of cable, I suppose. Cable, satellite.
Arthur, that was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
That's fucking crazy.
I know, right?
Bro, do you know what we were doing in 2012?
What were you doing, Zach?
We were in jazz band. I was in jazz band.
That we were. I didn't think I'd do it until my third year. So 7th, 8th grade, I think. Interesting. So I'm 13.
2013.
13. Well, 12-ish because we graduated in 14 and started high school. We started high school in 14.
Yeah.
Anyways. What I'm trying to say is that I don't know how in depth did you understand like cable and stuff, but that's also how that worked. There were some channels that you couldn't watch unless you paid for them.
Pay-per-view.
Which until I was like literally 19, I thought it was pay-per-view. Like paper, like a sheet of paper.
No, it's pay.
Well, I know now, but I didn't understand that.
You see, Arthur,
to be fair, when you say it like really fast, you trying to watch the pay-per-view for the fight? I'm like,
the only pay-per-view I've ever paid for is the Conor McGregor versus the guy Mayweather. Thank you. That is the only time I've ever paid for anything.
Yeah, that's the biggest one in it, at least in our generation.
Well, I mean, Logan Paul fought some dude. Jake Paul fought some dude.
Don't look at me in the dead in the eye and tell me that was significant. Shut up, dude.
No, I'm saying what I'm saying.
Listen, all right.
Bro, some people were more stoked about Logan Paul and KSI fighting than like any boxing match.
Well, here's the thing, okay? So this is a conversation. This is not my words, but I agree with them. So I mentioned that I watch another podcast called Do Later, which is by the guy from Unbox Therapy, right? And during this time, around like the KSI, Logan Paul fights and such, there's all sorts of ways to look at it. You look at it in the perspective of an older boxing fan. You're like, what is this? What are they doing with our sport? Yeah. This is like, and frankly, unlike, in my opinion, at least, this is my opinion, unlike, basketball, football, American football, and, soccer and such, right? It's not boxing. You have to be like into it to watch it,
Yeah.
It's like that type of subculture rather than like anybody can just watch a game of basketball, And
at least vaguely understand. What's going on.
I mean, boxing, yes, you vaguely understand these beat the shit out of each other, right? More to it, but you understand what I'm saying. Yeah. But no one just doesn't just watch boxing,
right?
You got to be into boxing to watch it. Generally, at least a fair amount. Maybe not die hard, but a fair amount. Unlike football, you just fucking fuck it, it's on. I guess I'll watch it.
Yeah, sports
sports ball talk with Arthur and Zach. what I'm trying to get at though is that, you know, in that perspective of that type of boxing fan, it's like, what is this? You guys are making a mockery of our sport, this sacred sport, this, you know, go do like a celebrity NBA game, you know, they do those, do that, you know?
Yeah.
You know, why are you here in the ring? You looking at that perspective, or you're looking at it in a different perspective. Have you ever, Zach, did I hit something? I'm in a bit. Okay. Have you ever had, like, you've been watching a YouTuber and you like two different YouTubers, let's say. I mean, we like multiple YouTubers. Let's say two, for example, two names. Mm-hmm. You're watching one of YouTuber, and then at some point they just mention this YouTuber, and you're like, oh shit, I watched that YouTuber. That's cool. You know, you create that association, that weird thing. Like one time hold on. Zach, yesterday, Zach, I woke up from a nap, right?
As one might.
As one does. And I walk downstairs and Jeopardy is playing live, right? Today, like an episode right now, you know, live. It's not a rerun, it's a live. And then, you know, they pull up the answer rather, right? The card, and it's like, this 5, I remember it because this is how weird it was. This 5, let's see if you can answer, Zach. I'm sure you can figure it out. This 5-letter word, sometimes, okay, maybe not word for word, but this 5-letter word, sometimes associated with the Japanese manga and a film, Studio Ghibli film, and also can be of a Studio Ghibli film, Princess Momonoke, is this. Easier than you think, Zach.
Oh, anime?
Yes. And then the lady buzzes in and she's like, yes. And I'm like, what is anime? And I'm like, ooh.
What?
Ooh. And then at that point I realized, okay, I'm dreaming. I'm still sleeping. There's no fucking way this just happened. No way I just walked downstairs. This shit happens. Jeopardy says those anime? Really? No way, this is not happening. Princess Momonoke, which is a Studio Ghibli film, and
great studio, by the way.
Great studio. Princess Momonoke. I can't remember. Sorry. And manga and anime in one card. No, I'm still sleeping, Zach. But basically, what I'm trying to say is that was really weird.
Were you still sleeping?
Was I? I don't know. No, I wasn't. I was awake, wide awake. I witnessed this shit. I'm like, no fucking way that just happened. But what I'm trying to say is, Zach, that association happens. And it makes your mind think. It makes your mind go. You have a YouTuber, they mention this YouTuber, like, oh, hey, even though they have no association with each other, you're like, that's cool. So the argument what I'm trying to make, right? Let's see it. Here we go, Zach. Get it.
No, I just had like G Fuel, like
you used Code North to buy.
Yeah, powdered G Fuel on my lip, and I was like, what the fuck is going on?
So what I'm trying to get at, Zach, is that my long story, right, is this association of two different entities. You associate what happens when you take, because as much you can feel whatever way you want about that type of, you know, big YouTube celebrity type area, right? The KSI, the Logan Paul, the Jake Paul, that type of stuff, right? Mm-hmm. You can feel whatever type of way, but you can look me in the eye and agree that they're important figures. At least in their respective area, they're important figures. Everybody knows Logan Paul.
Can I add a quick note?
Sure.
So I think there are a lot of different viewpoints that you can kind of look at this from. You can look at it from the perspective of, like, say, for example, the Logan Paul KSI fight. Mm-hmm. If like that, I feel was a very good opportunity to get people even thinking about boxing in a positive way. Mm-hmm. Because, you know, as much as it is just two guys kicking the shit out of each other.
Well, punching the shit out of each
other. Well, yeah.
Kicking would be bad.
Yeah.
In a boxing
no, that's UFC.
That's yeah.
Yeah, that's MMA. But
anyways,
you know, you can get into so many, you can go down so many different avenues of, you know, like I just said, the UFC, MMA, bare knuckle boxing. I remember
we did to go on a convo about bare knuckle boxing because you were mad into it for a bit.
And I was kind of sad about it because I think that was one of the episodes that got scrapped. But
was it? No, I'm pretty sure it made it. I think
I'm pretty sure it did not.
Well,
sadness. But anyways, my point being, you can find different ways to engage people in, or like get people engaging into a community that they've never been in before. And that's definitely a really cool situation where that can happen. But also on the other side of that, you know, you take two people who have no boxing experience at all, and then you're just like, all right, go fight each other. Then it just kind of like, you know, and they did train for it.
Yes, they did.
Which is really cool. And I'm really glad that they took it at least that seriously, where they were like, okay, I want to train for this. I want to be as prepared as possible for this.
Yeah, they had coaches and everything to teach them how to box. You know, boxing isn't, boxing is not just, all right, put on gloves and punch each other. There's a lot of technique to it. There's a lot of understanding, a lot of reflex training, all sorts of things, right? Way more to it than just throwing a haymaker every 5 seconds and then, you know, hugging. But like I'm not saying is that, you know, they did what they could to respect the sport, I think.
Yeah.
But I still understand where the boxing, you know, the boxing diehards, why they're upset.
Yeah.
But you have to understand, Zach, for the same exact reason of keyboards, of how it becoming no longer a niche thing. You like that tie, Zach? You fucking like that? You like that one, Zach? Hell yeah, you love that one. Let's fucking go. What ended up happening is, you know, it's just something to talk about, to stimulate the brain to think a little differently. Because what ended up happening is that names like Logan Paul, Jake Paul, KSI, those names are now in like Sports Center.
Yeah.
And like ESPN. You know, their names are somewhere where they shouldn't be, or not, or normally at. So it's like, whoa, that's weird. That's interesting. It's just, even if it's just a little bit, right? It's just a little bit to make you think a little differently. Like a little stimulus, if you will.
Yeah.
Of some sorts for your brain.
It's fascinating when, I remember this very vividly. I remember when YouTubers started popping up in like the mainstream media.
Yeah.
And that was like the most fascinating thing, because I was like, wait a minute. And like, you know, I saw like an article about Casey Neistat snowboarding down like in New York City. Which is cool. And I watched that video, and then I saw an article about it that was posted by, you know, like the Washington Post or something like that. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And then, you know, you'll see YouTubers on TV. You'll see YouTubers pursuing acting and like doing all of these things. And it's like, fuck yeah, dude.
Oh, yeah.
You do you. And I think at the end of the day, once everything's said and done, I feel like a lot of people don't really think about the concept of influencers, celebrities being normal people. Some of them are fucking weird, but at the same time, you know, there's still people who have goals and dreams and aspirations that go outside of where you first saw them.
Right.
And so, like, for an example, like for Logan Paul, you know, he said many different times like he wanted to be a boxer, and that was something that he wanted to do, and then he just ended up finding a really cool opportunity to be able to do that.
Right.
And like the people who are acting in movies, the people who are doing like TV shows, those types of things, and it's not just a gimmick of like, I'm here with Markiplier, you know, like it's actually something serious, and they actually mean it, and they're doing it not just for the clout, they're doing it because they want to do it.
Right.
That is when I'm like die hard supportive, like fuck yeah, you do you, boo boo.
Right.
It is so fucking cool that you're going out and doing something that you really wanted to do. Like,
that makes sense.
hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
You do you, boo boo.
You get that shit. You get that, chase that bag, queen, right?
Yes.
Yeah. That's, why would we still be talking about it today, you know? That's the type of significance that it brought to like the table.
Right.
Zach, have I ever mentioned in this show, Zach, that I love marketing?
Yeah, you have.
Oh, I have, Zach, because I love that shit. That's fantastic what they did. I don't care how you feel about it. I don't care how you feel about the integrity of the sport. I don't care how you feel about how they dealt with it, how the match went, how it ended, how you care about, or how you feel about the individuals who participated in it. I don't care. How they did that, and we're talking about it right now again. Even after it's been said and done, even after there's been other fights between other YouTubers, we talk about this single Logan Paul versus KSI. That bears enough, that bears something, you know what I mean? That means something. They did something really well. And they jumped in, and KSI did Fortnite dances, and they made $1 million or whatever the fuck they did. For what was it? Wasn't it a tie? Wasn't it a draw or something?
So what I'm seeing here is, the first one was a tie, and that was in 2018.
And that was the one we talked about. That was the big one.
Almost 4 years ago, bro.
4 years ago. It was a draw. And we're talking about a draw, Zach. The memes of the hugging, why are we talking about it? Because they did a good job on it. I don't care what you feel about it. I really don't. Like, I have my own opinions on Logan Paul and that type of thing.
Your own onions?
I have my own onions. You have your own onions. People have their own onions, bro. So many fucking layers, Zach, of onions.
You know who else has layers?
Who, Zach?
Parfaits.
Okay, so there's everybody can feel whatever way they want, but there is still, no matter what, facts. And the fact is that was a significant event in our lifetime. Yeah. And it's so weird to say, but the fact that it is weird, the fact that YouTubers fighting in a boxing ring is a significant part, or a significant event in our lifetime.
Right.
The fact that we think it's weird is interesting in of itself. The fact that that's stimulating in of itself. That's an odd conversation to bring up. Why is it that? Well, let's talk about it.
I think the main thing that makes it odd is the fact that, like, when you look at it from a surface level, I don't know how we just went down this tangent. And
it's how it goes, Zach. Let's go.
Yeah.
Keyboards.
Fuck yeah, let's go. So if you look at it from a surface level, right, you have two people who have never boxed in a professional match in their entire lives. They're like, fuck you, bro. And then they're like, it's every day, bro.
That hurt a lot. That hurt everything. All right.
That physically pained me to say. Anyways, you take those two people who don't have any boxing experience, and then you're like, yeah, go fight each other. And then, it ends in a draw. Everyone's upset. They make a shit ton of money, and then they do it 2 more times. Mm-hmm. It's like, dude, that doesn't make any fucking sense. But then when you look back and see how this was kind of like the beginning of the Logan Paul comeback arc, mm-hmm. after the Japan incident and after like all of that.
Right.
Like that was like the first steps in him trying to like put himself in a little bit more of a positive light.
Sure.
And when we first heard about it, we were like, wow, this is stupid. Like, why is this happening right now? And then as time went on, and you realize like, oh, wow, people are actually getting super hyped about this. This is spreading like absolute wildfire. It was on the news. Like, what? Yeah. What the fuck?
Are you talking about the fight or the Japan?
The fight.
Right, the fight, right. Yeah. A bunch of YouTubers, Zach.
They make videos.
We're making videos, Zach. And they're on TV. That's a conversation starter. That's like that is odd. Let's talk about it. They're talking about it. That's it. They did it. That's a W, Zach. They got you to talk about something. They got you to talk about them. So I had a really good thought and I fucking lost it. Shit. You carry on, Zach. I'm just gonna find it.
So it's super interesting when do you remember when the line started to blur between celebrities in the mainstream media and YouTubers started to like interact with each other more?
As in like YouTubers and celebrities started interacting with each other more?
Yeah, like people making videos with
celebrities.
Yeah.
Maybe not. I agree that it definitely was a shift into that, but I can't necessarily recount anything like at least a specific event or a specific YouTuber or celebrity.
So I know, and I'm sure that there were earlier examples of this, and the two examples that I can think of just right off the top of my head are Casey Neistat and David Dobrik. And obviously this is putting everything aside, any like personal opinions that you feel about them. This is just kind of what happened during that period of time. Like Casey Neistat met Steve-O from Jackass. He met a whole bunch of different people. And then when Josh Peck started doing the vlogs with David Dobrik, that was kind of like the moment when you're like, oh, this is cool. And when I think Josh Peck, and
I think even before that, whether it was before or not, but I remember when Josh Peck did like Vine and stuff,
This goes back even further.
Oh, okay.
No. Like you're making me realize that this is going back further than I initially thought, because you had people on Vine who had videos blow up, and they like the Daniel with the white Vans.
Oh, that guy.
That guy. He was on Ellen.
He was on Ellen.
Like
oh my god,
there were so
many.
Got
a lifetime supply of white Vans, or a year supply, or some shit like that. Well, it's Vans, so one pair of Vans lasts like 3 years, so
I wonder if he got a lifetime supply of Vans. Does he still get more Vans to this day? I wonder. But those examples of like the line starting to blur, and then you ended up seeing people like Josh Peck making Vines, making YouTube channels. You ended up seeing the other side of that. People like Bo Burnham, who started off on YouTube, like 10, 12, 13 years ago, probably like 14 years ago now. He was making videos in like 2006. Holy shit. He started as just like a comedian artist who was just writing funny songs and all those types of things, and look at how successful he is now.
Right.
And you go back and you kind of retrace the breadcrumbs, and you notice that like they end up having so many different connections with each other, and they end up crossing paths in so many different ways. And like, I think a good example of this, you're going to cringe when I say this, but like Justin Bieber, he started off with having a video go viral on YouTube.
Yeah, he did.
And there have been so many examples.
I like Justin Bieber. I'm not going to cringe on that.
Well,
Baby was a bop. I don't give a fuck, bro. I'm where's the camera? Listen. Back then, Zach, I'm sorry to cut you off, but
it's okay.
I need to say this because it's pissed me off. Because I what's funny, Zach? I was literally talking about this last night during my stream. Twitch.tv/Anuki. We were talking because we're listening to like 2000 songs.
Yeah.
Because fucking why not, right?
Yeah.
And we're talking about Justin Bieber, and I was like, bro, honestly, back then in middle school, elementary school type days, or I guess middle school, we were like, man, the believers, like only the girls like Justin Bieber and stuff, and if you liked Justin Bieber, then you were, well, not necessarily a girl, but just like what what are you doing,
Yeah.
Only believers like the believers,
Yeah.
I fucked with Justin Bieber, bro. I knew Baby to heart, every lyric, bro, to Baby.
So you were a closet believer?
I wasn't a closet. Well, maybe. Well, I didn't express it. I wouldn't call it I wasn't a believer. I just like Justin Bieber's music. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo lover with Sean Kingston? Come on, man.
Dude, okay. This is what I'm talking about. Like, okay. It is so...
like... okay, go ahead.
So...
I just needed to say that because I love Justin Bieber. I don't give a fuck, bro. Baby? What? What is it? I'm gonna tell you one time, bro. I fucked with Justin Bieber, bro. Man, I don't give a man. I'm upset,
bro. Do you remember when Justin Timberlake had spaghetti ramen hair?
Yes, I do.
And he was that's
NSYNC. Yeah,
yep.
That's NSYNC days.
Yep.
I didn't really listen to NSYNC very much. When I started listening to music, and this is, I know we're fucking going everywhere right now. I didn't see. Even though that was more my generation, because our generation would be technically like 2000s to late 90s music, right? Technically,
yeah.
If you will say that, like as far as growing up, music wise. Like, what should we be embedded into? So I'm talking about before 2010s, but I got into 2010 music because, well, you know, I didn't really have any music to listen to because we didn't really have CD players or nothing. I mean, we did, but I mean, fuck if I know how to put a song in there back then. It wasn't until I got my first MP3 player in middle school where I started listening to music, you know? And that's when I started listening to like the Linkin Parks, the Chris Brown, T-Pain. So that's the music I started listening to. And my MP3 player, unlike the iPod Classic with the whopping 5 gigs, I can only store a couple songs, maybe like 20, 30 max. So my entire, basically from middle school to high school-ish, no, like late elementary school to almost high school, because I didn't get my first phone until high school, was that MP3 player. And I only knew like 30 songs. And if I wanted a song, I'd, you know, delete one and put one back in. Yeah. So I was like, well, I'm not going to fucking do that. So my entire, all the music I knew was I mean, there's YouTube, of course, but as far as like in my possession, in my mobility, yeah, that's the word I'm going for, was, you know, the Chris Brown With You, Chris Brown Forever, Jordan Sparks, Air, T-Pain, Buy You a Drink, Beautiful Girl, Sean Kingston. That was the type of music I listened to, right?
I love that song, by the way. It's a great song.
Of course.
Dude, it's so cool.
Bruno Mars, bro, shit, man. I got your grenade for you. Bro,
yeah, dude.
That was the shit.
That was the shit. And I think I don't remember, because you and I started hanging out a lot in middle school. Like a lot in middle school. And so I think I ended up exposing you to my really interesting and odd taste in music, because I would listen to like Eminem. I listened to a lot of rap.
You know, I didn't listen to Eminem very much growing up. I think, well, I mean, like, did I mention this? I don't know. I mentioned it in the stream, so I don't know if I mentioned it now, but before I couldn't just download any music. It has to go through my parents first.
Oh.
So that's also why I couldn't listen to a lot of, you know, maybe explicit things or something like that, right? So not a lot of rap, of course. I didn't listen to a lot of rap growing up. Maybe that's why I appreciate it now more than I, you know, as much as I do, right? Yeah.
Do you want to know something hilarious?
Yeah.
So on my first iPod, the iPod Classic, and I say iPod Classic meaning like, I think it was like a third gen iPod.
Right.
Not like the newer iPod Classic, you know, like the OGs.
The iPod, not the Touch.
Yeah, no, this was pre-Touch days, but I was on my dad's iTunes account, right? And this was in like 2008. And there were 3 albums on there. 2 of which were Eminem albums.
Yep.
And one of them was the SpongeBob SquarePants soundtrack from the movie.
Oh.
And so I started off the gate listening to like very obscene, very dark, will the real Slim Shady please stand up, like that kind of stuff. Like,
yeah.
And then it kind of evolved where, you know, I listened to a lot of like Led Zeppelin, the Rolling Stones,
yeah, that's
Metallica.
That's definitely a natural evolution from off of like Eminem was your first, I would say. Even though it's technically rap, like just in my mind, you saying rolling from Eminem to like Led Zeppelin and stuff, somehow that makes sense. That makes sense in my mind that's how that would go.
Because it's a lot more jarring going from kids' music to Eminem than Eminem to literally fucking anything else.
Right.
And so I think that's why my taste in music is so weird, because it started off really weird.
Right.
Like, you know, I was listening to early Slim Shady albums when I was like 9-10 years old. And then, of course, I would start to listen to like Tupac, Biggie Smalls, you know, just like a whole bunch of really old stuff, along with stuff that was coming out now, you know, like Plain White Tees, Green Day, you know, just like a whole bunch of newer stuff, along with like 90s hip hop.
Right.
And then, of course, classic rock. So I started off in a really fucking weird place.
Yeah, your palette is pretty colorful. I was pretty like just that 2010 R&B, hip hop, pop.
You're way too beautiful, girls.
Yeah, DMCA. So Akon and shit. Yeah, that was what I was doing. I think because I recognize Eminem as like one of the GOATs, right? Of course I do, because it's Eminem. Everyone knows Eminem, right? Even though I don't know most of his songs. I'd say I probably know like 10% of his songs. I don't even have any Eminem songs on my phone. That's not because I don't like listen to him or anything. It's not because I don't respect him.
Yeah.
I think it's just I just never grew up with them. So it was a little more difficult, I suppose. As far as like, because like, you know, listen to like Mockingbird and stuff and all those type of songs. I heard those, but I feel like if I didn't listen to like what you like, you know, the thing that you're talking about, you know, like the Real Slim Shady, that type of stuff, and it's not that I couldn't get into it now. It's just and you know, nowadays only music I listen to is if they speak Japanese at this point. Fucking hell. But yeah, I guess I would say, I guess mainstream. I don't know if you would consider it radio music, because radio music was like Maroon 5. I mean, I listen to those as well, right? Because radio music, of course. And, you know, like I said, I get it. If I listen to anything I get my hands on, right? So, you know, but, you know, like Chris Brown and, you know, just basically the songs that were on radio and off radio. Bruno Mars songs that were on radio and off radio. That's basically where I was at as far as listening to music.
Yeah.
So I couldn't really explore very far because, well, internet wasn't, you know, shocker, wasn't very big back. I mean, it was big, it was the thing, but it wasn't really. I mean, I found more music just like talking to my friends than, you know, finding it on YouTube and stuff. Like that's how significant it was on YouTube.
So
or online, right? The internet.
Yeah, and I completely understand that point of view, because it can be kind of hard because
you know, I'm sorry, but I'm pretty sure I got more into music from like MTV and stuff, you know? That's more like when I figured out what type of music to listen to, like where to find music.
Bro,
MTV music videos, I'm like, oh, I gotta put this song in my MP3 player, bro. This is fire. That's how it was, bro.
Dude, it's so funny that you say that, because you just brought back a memory of me sitting and watching MTV, like the music videos.
My parents hated me watching that because some of them were not. I don't think there was ever like explicitness, because there was all censored as far as like, you know, like radio edits, right? Like if they were to say a cuss word, it would just like blank out or whatever, right? Yeah. Or not say it, right? But it was still, you know, my parents, they just didn't want me to listen to like hip hop and stuff. I think that's what it was. Like I just was not introduced to hip hop whatsoever. I had no rap. The closest thing to rap I had was like T-Pain, technically, I guess, and Chris Brown. Because he rapped every now and then, I guess, and Ludacris from Justin Bieber, Baby. That's about it as far as rap. They didn't let
Luda. Dude, it's so crazy because I didn't even know about this at the time, but I was on like a fucking journey with the music that I was listening to, because there were so many different outlets of exposure to music for me, because, you know, I had MTV, I had YouTube, I had a bunch of people around me who were listening to all different types of music. You know, I listened to country because that's what my mom listened to. I listened to like old school rock and roll because that's what my dad listened to. You know, I listened to rap because that's what my brother listened to. And, you know, any person who would be sitting on the bus listening to music, I'd be like, oh, what song are you listening to? And then I'd pull one of their headphones out and just have a listen.
Weird,
yeah. Back, you know, before you had to stay the fuck away from everybody. Yeah. It was so interesting because I was able to expose myself to so many different types of music. And this was before I was even a musician too. And I think that had a lot to do with my passion for music and all of those types of things, because I grew to appreciate every single genre of music, regardless of what it was. And that's why when you look at my Spotify playlist now, or like my liked songs on Spotify, it's a fucking mess.
Right.
Like it'll be like jazz album, deathcore, and then it'll be like, you know, Queen, Led Zeppelin, the Beatles, the Rolling Stones. There will be stuff like Metallica, and or, you know, it could be fucking anything. Like Meghan Trainor. Like,
hey, Meghan Trainor was fire, bro. I'm not gonna lie, bro. I don't know. I feel like she got a bad rap for no reason, you know? I feel like some of her songs are fire, man. She's a good. I hope she's doing right. I hope she's doing okay.
Yeah. You know, it's really cool seeing also those artists that I used to listen to back in the early 2000s. You know, seeing the stuff that they're coming up with now. And
dude, you know what? speaking of bad rap, I'm sorry, but you know, like Carly Rae Jepsen,
Yeah.
you know, like Call Me Maybe, how that was like the meme when memes were still like, you know, being birthed as like, we're deciding, oh, are these called memes? I guess they're kind of funny jokes. Yeah, let's call them memes, you know? That's how old we're talking right now.
Back when the mainstream media were like maymays.
Maymays, bro. When memes were what are they called? Like angry faces, like troll faces, and like a you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
You know, that type of shit. Back then, bro. Carly Rae Jepsen, Call Me Maybe. Exactly. I love that song.
I do too.
Good. All right. Good answer. Good answer, Steve. Good answer, Steve. Bro, that she got clowned on for that back then, man. And I get it. You know, it's kind of, you know what I mean? It's kind of, yeah, it was catchy and it was dorky and it was, you know, that one song, and it was like, but I love Carly Rae Jepsen. Whenever she went on like features and stuff, she's just good at singing, man. Like when she sang that one song like Owl City, right? Was that her?
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, she was good, man.
Dude, I love the early 2000s and late 90s one-hit wonders. They were just a different fucking breed.
They were.
And you look at stuff like Call Me Maybe, I Kissed a Girl by Katy Perry. Obviously, she kind of popped off later on.
Great, yeah.
But, you know, like, whenever I think about artists from that period of time, there are one or two songs that kind of stick out in my head. And like you said, how Eminem, like Mockingbird was like the first song that came to your mind. Because that was like one of the ones that popped off hardcore. You think of Owl City, you think of Fireflies, you know, you think of the Plain White Tees, you think of Hey There Delilah, you think of, you know, I mean, shit, you think of Green Day, you think of American Idiot, like, and I could literally keep going. And you know I can.
Yeah, I know.
So, damn, I just listed off so many different examples.
And how like Kesha was the first to do TikTok before TikTok was TikTok.
Like 10
on the
years,
clock.
10
the
years
party don't
before.
stop, Zach.
That's a great example too.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Kesha was fire too. Listen, I know, because you know it's just gonna be the same old conversation of just old people talking about music from their generation. Like, man, that movie, or that same movie, music. It's like my music from back then was way better than nowadays. You know, I understand that's what it sounds like, but that's not what I'm trying to get at. That's not the point. We're just having fun here. We have fun here in the office. Zach, you know, I just wanted, what I was talking about. No, I was just trying to stop the Justin Bieber slander. I think that was the main part, and we started talking about like 2000 music. But I agree. I wish, you know, maybe that's what, because in the editing community, or the editing Call of Duty type of stuff, right? I like to think, because I've been doing it for a while, right? I'm a guy like me, right? Editing for a couple minutes, and I like to think that there was a certain point in my editing career that really put my name in like in the space. Like I've been editing for before this point, I've been editing for like 2 or 3 years at this point, right? I'm like, what do I got to do to get my name out there? I think it was Call of Duty World War II, I want to say, where that was the first COD where everyone was like, bro, I really don't like editing World War II. You know, I don't like editing this COD. This COD kind of sucks ass, you know?
Yeah.
But I was the guy who was like, man, I'll edit it. Fuck it. So I accepted everything. I was everywhere.
Yeah.
And somehow, some way, Zach, I mentioned that because I never listened to a lot of music, I never got to appreciate rap. Or at least when I was younger. So maybe that's why I appreciate rap and hip hop, even today's rap and hip hop, more than I did, more than, you know, I did back then. Mm-hmm. And the thing that I was really into during this time of Call of Duty World War II was 90s hip hop. Tupac, Biggie, Eazy-E, Dr. Dre. Yeah. I was really into that. You know, this was not even because of Straight Outta Compton, you know? Not even because of that movie. I mean, that movie definitely fucking helped, right?
Yeah.
And if anything, that movie helped me because people were like into like 90s hip hop again. Like, hey, this guy's editing to this shit, you know? But I was editing to I was really into that hip hop, or the 90s hip hop, and I was editing to like Tupac, and I didn't edit Biggie very much, but Eazy-E, I edited a ton of Eazy-E. And what ended up happening was I became that 90s hip hop editor. I became that guy. And that's what put me on my name. That's what put me into Red. That's what put me into different teams after it fell out. That's the reason why I can still stand in a community that I don't even talk about anymore, because instead I'm just anime community nowadays. But my name is still there.
Yeah.
Because of that, bro, I got super into hip hop. I think. I mean, I always edited to rap, you know, but I edited to all sorts of things. I was a rap editor, I guess, but I edited to other things. Hip hop, bro, or 90s hip hop. I gained a super hardcore appreciation for it. Even though looking back, I'd say, you know, ironically, 90s hip hop, as far as like instrumental goes, is probably way more blander than today's, if you will. It's the same 4/4 like through the entire verse from the beginning to the end of the song back then, 90s for hip hop.
That's fair. They did a lot of like loop tracks and those types of things.
Yeah.
But
I mean, the lyricism was fantastic.
Yeah,
phenomenal, of course.
I think that is the reason why I appreciate 90s hip hop a little bit more than now, because
Sure.
I mean, you know, the people like Tupac, Biggie, they were talking about real shit that was happening. Straight out of Compton. That's what the movie was called, Arthur.
Yeah.
Imagine the shit that they were talking about in their raps from Compton in the 90s.
Yeah, well, it was like Dre and Eazy-E, Ren, you know. Yeah, bro. I was just having a time, bro. I was having fun, bro. Me, like 18, 19 years old. I'm like, I'm discovering 90s hip hop. I'm like, this is fucking fire, bro.
That makes me so happy. It's like
young Nuki, bro. Imagine young Nuki just listening to now I'm listening to old Asian music, Zach.
Dude, that's so funny.
I'm just yeah, we were listening because I've been listening to city pop, which is basically the genre that we're listening to, which is kind of like 80s, 90s Japanese jazz pop fusion type thing.
It's a masterpiece.
It's fire, bro. It's fire.
I heard a song. Okay, so when I first got here, we were like halfway through a song or something, and like we were setting up the set and everything. And I was like, "Oh man, we missed the meme part." And
oh yeah.
Or like, no, I said, "Isn't this a song that has a meme in it?" And you're like, "No, we passed it." And then like 10 seconds later, it happened. And I was like,
yeah. Yeah, that one.
Do you know that song? Like, I didn't
even know that was city pop. I didn't even know that was Japanese, Zach. I just know the meme. I thought that was just the meme. It's like, what? Because I was listening to that exact song the other night. Everything that's happening right now, everything I'm talking about right now literally just happened to stream like yesterday, because that song came on. I was like, what is the meme song in it? Okay, you know, listen, you know, yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I need to.
I have another example, but go ahead.
I need to say this before I lose it. I love the fact that there are certain genres and subgenres of music that I only learned about through memes and jokes on the internet.
I know.
And there have been so many instances where you would hear like a meme song, like the To Be Continued meme.
Oh.
You know, like that song is a bop. And then you talk about the that song is also a bop. It's in Japanese. No one fucking knew that. You know, there have been so many situations. Can you tell that the caffeine's kicking in?
Oh, yeah.
You can tell, like, so many different situations have come up where you're like, this meme is kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
I like this song. This song is a bop. And then you listen to it, and then you get obsessed with it, and then it gets stuck in your head for like 10 years. Hence the reason why I know so many memes. It's because of the songs. It's because of the songs. And like, you know, it's just insane. Like I could tangent on, but I know that there's something you had an example. And
no, I was just saying because I it's super funny. I think I mentioned it before, but like you haven't watched it yet, but Kaguya-sama Love is War, which is an anime. It's a really funny anime. It's a comedy anime. It's a rom-com. I think I explained it before, but it's like there's a student council president and the student council vice president. They have a crush on each other, but they won't admit it, and they're trying to make the other person admit it. Mm-hmm. And the one who admits it loses. Love is War, right? Yeah, it's super fucking funny, and I recommend watching it. Cameron's watching it right now. He snapped me. He's like, "I'm watching." I'm like, "It's fucking go, bro. It's fire." Anyways, the opening for it is like this, like, how do I explain it? Everybody, I'm saying it right now, and everybody behind the screen's like, "Yo, the opening, yeah!" I'm gonna have you listening to it. Remind me. I will make you listen to it because it's like this. Like 70s, 80s Japanese, like, allow me, mister, mister. It's so funny. It's so funny because it's like this. I don't know why. It's like you don't expect it because you expect rom-com, anime rom-com, classic, like a J-pop song, and it's whatever, right? And you hear this go off, he's like, damn! And it's so, and then I start listening to more of his stuff, right? And I'm listening to it, and I'm like, damn, it's what my grandma listens to. But this is what my grandparents listen to, except in Laos. What is happening right now? Why am I listening to this? It's so fire, Zach. What is happening? I blew my mind. It blew my mind. I was like, no way this is happening.
Dude.
The old is new, Zach.
The old is new, and also I think our appreciation for the old can only come from the hindsight of the new.
Sure.
That was fucking fire. Someone needs to put that on a shirt. Dude, it's so fucking crazy because like I listen to music like let's see. I love Queen.
Mm-hmm.
And oh shit. There's another band that I just immediately thought of. It's on like all of my Spotify playlists. Do you know the song Mr. Blue Sky? Mr. Blue Sky, please tell us why. Who had to hide away
I don't know if I do.
So long. So it was in the opening of Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh. And homie was singing it, right? He was singing while he was walking up to the stone, right?
It was in Electric Light Orchestra. There we go. Yes.
Yeah.
So
I'm not gonna play it, but you know the vibes.
Yeah, you know the vibes. So this was in the opening of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
Oh, okay.
And
I didn't watch Volume 2. I only watched Volume 1.
Yeah. So it's a banger, by the way. You need to watch it. It was so cool because once I watched that movie, and like I have to say the soundtrack for both of the Guardians of the Galaxy movies is a fucking bop. I literally have a Spotify playlist on my phone called Guardians of the Galaxy. It's just all of my favorite songs from that movie and from those movies, because they used a lot of songs like from this example from the 70s and 80s, and they were able to make it so tasteful and not like, oh great, here we go, here's Thunderstruck again. They turned it into such a cool way to present the mood and all of those types of things. Mm-hmm. And like, dude, it's so cool. And like a lot of those songs I already knew, mm-hmm. which is wild because I'm super young and I listen to songs by people who are dead. Mm-hmm. And it's just like, people ask me what my favorite band is at the moment. And, I'll sit there and tell them like, oh yeah, just, I'm really in a Rolling Stones mood right now. Mm-hmm. Or old school AC/DC or Metallica, or like, just like a whole bunch. I keep saying Metallica. I like Metallica. Can you tell? And then it's so cool.
No, old is cool, bro. Old is cool. I hate being that guy, because if any, it's like when people try and like, it's the reason why like Polaroids are cool right now, right? Mm-hmm. It's like this kind of this idea of vintage and antique. That's really interesting. It's really it's the vinyls behind you and the camera that you have right now, even if it's not operant. This thing right here, Zach.
Oh yeah, I haven't even talked about.
You haven't talked about Oh, sorry, Ram.
Oh god. Can I talk about this for just a second?
Yeah.
Okay, so third angle, you could probably see this better.
Oh.
Oh God. So this is a Kodak Pocketbook. And I believe this is the second iteration of the Pocketbook. The first I actually have at home right now. And that version was discontinued in the 1920s. And I believe this is a little bit older than that. And so, yeah, this camera's really cool. This camera used to belong to my mom. My mom gave it to me. This has traveled a whole bunch of different places. But it's interesting because I am such a history buff when it comes to certain things that I care about, and music being one of them, which is why I have such a appreciation for classical music and jazz music. And like, you know, you look at like the history of any genre of music, and and there's kind of like that turning point moment when it's never going to be the same ever again.
Sure.
And
well, it just reimagines itself, you know? Like, I hate to bring up the thing, but, you know, like Your Lie in April, when I first watched it, right? I never would have thought I would, after watching it, all right, classical music time. I never would have done that. I never would have thought I'd ever do that. But here I am, Zach, 16, 15 years old, Zach, watching Your Lie in April, and now I'm listening to classical music on my bus ride to school, Zach. Like, whoa, you know what I mean?
yeah,
It's like, you mentioned it before, right? The with the boxing, all that fucking tie back. Oh, listen. When you mentioned, like, you know, Logan Paul and KSI going fighting in the box words, holy shit, that was terrible. You mentioned in the KSI and the Logan and the boxing. Okay. You know, that happened, and what you said was that, like, what it did was bring this, you know, this different type of or this newer audience into this, you know, dare I say, kind of I almost said relic, but it's not the right word I'm going for. This rich history type of, you know, sport.
Yeah.
You know, a sport rich with history, rich with experience and knowledge, right?
Yeah.
Knowledge. You bring this new audience into it, right? And it brings this different light into it, whether it be, you know, you can feel whatever way you want about it, but it happened.
Yeah.
And when Your Lie in April came out, I didn't watch it when it aired, but, you know, I watched it and then looked up, you know, classical music and stuff. And, you know, one of the biggest things, oh my gosh, I still think about this. The biggest thing, like, I would go to like a classical music, like, you know, like hour-long video, like different, you know, songs and composers and stuff back to back, right? And then in the comments, you'd be like, I'm here because of Your Lie in April. And then the replies would be like, you know, why are you here? You just came from after watching like a cartoon or whatever, and you're not respecting the music and stuff, you know, and get out of here and that type of thing. And to which I read those and I'm like, really? Because to me, I'm exactly what you were talking about with the boxing thing, where it's like this. Classical music is not dead at all. No. That's not what I'm saying. But it is something that's rich with history and something that is falling behind of the mainstream because it's no longer mainstream.
Right.
Mainstream would be, you know, the hip hops and such, right? Radio music, but that's besides the point. And then, you know, you get a bunch of kids, you know, my age at the time, or even younger, maybe even older, watch Your Lie in April, and like, I want to know more. Why is that a bad thing? Why is it a bad thing that I watched an anime and now because of a cartoon, I want to get into this type of music, classical music? You know, what is there to gatekeep? Shouldn't you be like, wow, I can't believe that, you know, they did that. Welcome to our thing, you know? Welcome to our genre of music, our community of classical music, classical playing. You know, here's another song you should try out that wasn't in the anime. Maybe you like this one too. If you liked, you know, Chopin, maybe listen to more of this type of stuff. You like the faster stuff, you know. Well, I failed to understand why, you know, why that's such an issue, why that was an issue, because it actually bothered me. It really did. Like, well, because there's all sorts of anime too, where it's like where they explore jazz too. Yeah. And they explore all sorts of things, and it makes people want to
gatekeep.
Well, it makes that community want to gatekeep from, like, gatekeep the newer fans of getting in. Well, how the fuck are you gonna get new fans, Zach?
Right.
If you're a dying community, I'm not saying jazz or classical music is dying. I'm throwing a general example. let's say you're a dying hobbyist enthusiast community with only, I mean, there's still a decent amount, but you know, as time goes on, it's probably going to disappear as it gets more niche.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't you want more people? Wouldn't you want, whether they be new, whether they be someone old returning, wouldn't you just enjoy a bigger community? So why, what is there to, why is it a bad thing? Or it's like, you don't know anything about classical music. Why are you here? You're just here because of a cartoon, why you're here from a Japanese cartoon. Why are you here trying to listen to this masterpiece composition arrangement that has so much rich history? Well, how are they going to know that if they don't get into it? Right.
Yeah. I'm so glad that you just tied like two of my favorite things together. History and music.
Yeah, and you see how I finally brought anime into the podcast, bro. There's so many ties. That's crazy, bro. This is the best episode so far.
So I think
someone's uned bingo card just went off. Someone got blackout. That's crazy. We got all of them.
We got all of them.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Use case. Anyway,
that was his free space. Wait, I have to.
There we go.
There it is. Now it's a blackout. Let's go.
Okay, cool. Now we can continue with our regularly scheduled programming. When you talk about something that has such an expansive and extensive history as music, and, obviously both of us are musicians, and both of us have been in it for a very long time. And it's really cool to be able to see the different history that you have had in your journey of getting to the point to where you are now, where, you, as much as you'll sit there and talk shit about your piano playing, you're an amazing piano player. And your taste in music has definitely had a direct influence on me, because now I sit and listen to anime openings in the car.
Hell yeah.
And, it's really cool to see music even slightly from another person's perspective, because when you were sitting here talking about how there was only 30 songs that you knew up until high school, I'm like, fuck, I can't imagine that. Or me talking about all of the music that I listen to and all of the different genres and all of that kind of stuff, and people are like, wow, you have a really vast taste in music. And I'm like, wait, really? The way that I see it is it's normal, but I'm a fucking psychopath.
You gotta understand, Zach. See, the normie crowd, as I call them, right?
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with it. If you're a part of it, it's all good. Normie music is normie. It's good. It's normie music for a reason, because it's good.
Different strokes for different folks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my normie crowd, because the community that I kind of reside in are not normie necessarily, because the anime community, and because I'm also in the COD community, nobody's just editing to radio music. They're editing to all sorts of things. So I get to hear all sorts of things, right?
Right.
So I can't really gauge a normie sampling, I guess, of the current mainstream opinion, right? Of a certain thing. Here's a good example, right? So The Weeknd dropped an album recently, right?
Wait, really? I need to listen to it.
It's very, I want to say controversial, but it really shouldn't be. It's so stupid. So how he's recently been doing kind of this old, it's kind of, here's another type, but we're just kind of this older vibe music, with the blinding lights.
I love that.
Yeah, he's kind of doing that type of vibe.
Yeah.
Kind of like a funky, that thing, I guess 90s, 80s, that type of thing.
Yeah.
He's been doing that recently. And basically imagine that song, but times 50. That's this album.
That's the vibe?
That's the vibe.
Fuck yeah.
It's really interesting. Okay. If you want my opinion, I enjoyed it. It was a very good journey. I have not listened back to it since then, though. But
can I just say something really quick? So, and I don't want you to think that I'm going to be sitting here stroking your ego too much, but when you say it's good, I know that I can go and listen to it and not be worried. Yeah. Whereas if my brother was like, hey dude, you should listen to this song, it's pretty good, and I listened to 30 seconds of it and I'm like,
Well, Zach, here's the reason why, Zach. It's because I like normie music, but I know what normie music is like actually shit. Like there's generic and then there's garbage. It's like there's no way around. Like it's kind of how it is. I'm not the type of person who hates on generic, catchy hip hop, 808s, that type of thing. I don't hate on that. I hate if it's shit. If like they're like, what the fuck is this? Like, are you serious? There's no way people like this. I'm not gonna name any, but some of my coworkers know exactly what songs I skip.
Can I say something really interesting? Because
Sure.
I was having a conversation. With my mom about this today.
Dude, this is
I'm not even
crazy.
fucking joking.
Wow.
Okay, so it was really fascinating because I was talking to my mom about like church music, gospel music,
Sure.
those types of things. And I was talking to my mom about Catholic music, and she was saying like, oh yeah, I really love it. It's really cool, all of that kind of stuff. And the way that I explained it to my mom is the way that I would probably explain why I'm not the biggest fan of a lot of the stuff that's super popular on the radio right now. And I guess I kind of shot myself in the foot because I spent so much time learning about very elaborate, very dense, not necessarily complicated, but very like dense music.
Right.
That has a lot of different music theory elements involved in all of that kind of stuff. And, it's very stimulating to the brain, to like the musician brain, and those songs where every time you listen to it, you hear something a little bit different, or you catch something that you never heard before. Like, I love that kind of music. And I guess the way that I explained it to my mom was that, there isn't a lot of substance to like the music that you would hear at a Catholic church. And I'm not going to sit here and talk a bunch of shit about the Catholic Church or anything like that. This is coming from the opinion of myself. I grew up in a Catholic church. Like I have room to talk shit because I was there.
Yeah.
And so, that's what I told my mom. And I was like, I'm not going to sit here and say that it's bad. I'm just saying like, it's not my cup of tea because, there's not a whole lot of substance to it. And that's kind of similar with a lot of the music. And I'm not going to say all of the music, but like a lot of the radio music that's going around right now. And that's not a bad thing. I just have tarnished my palette of music with a whole bunch of really crazy, diverse, random shit that now when I hear something that is like normal, I'm like, wow, this is kind of boring.
You know what, Zach? It's like this. You can have all the ramen in the world, but every now and then a good top ramen is nice.
Right?
You know what I mean?
That is the...
You know what I mean?
Bro, that's the perfect example.
You know what I mean? Like nobody just hates top ramen. There's all sorts of top ramen too. You know what I mean?
But just chicken top ramen.
Chicken top. No, what I'm saying is a top ramen is the basic bitch shit. But there's like chicken top ramen, shrimp, beef. There's different type of top ramen. Yeah. But it's all good. There's nothing wrong with that. It's nice. Sometimes it's nice to have and you enter the normie territory and there's different types of flavors of normie. Because of what? Why the fuck not? There's even other cup noodle, that type of stuff. Or every now and then you go to a restaurant and get some nice ramen if you want.
Yeah, it's like going to Panda Express and then every once in a while going to like an actual Chinese food restaurant.
Yeah, Panda Express is nice. Chinese restaurant's nice.
There's nothing bad about either one. It's just if you spend too much time in one territory, then it can kind of skew your perspective on the other.
Sure.
But that's not necessarily a bad thing either, because it's an ebb and flow. You can change the things that you like, the things that you don't like. Like I listen to deathcore and I can hear the lyrics, and then the people who ride in the car with me are scared.
Zach, I'm sure that the big hip hop artists, talking about all the money they make, all the bitches they fuck, all the nice restaurants they go to, and then after they record that song, Zach, studio session's over. Hey, y'all want to go to Panda?
Hey, yo, who wants to go to Mickey D's?
Who wants to go to Mickey D's real quick? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That probably goes down. Why not? They go to they probably hit up the fattest, sickest restaurants, the nicest restaurants probably we never will ever would step foot in.
Yeah.
But they hit up a Mickey D's every now and then, man. Come on, bro. Like, why not, bro? There's no shame in it. You know what I mean?
Dude, it's so funny because I just imagine that conversation. You're like sitting across the room.
You're like Drake.
Yeah. No, you're like sitting across the room from like Eminem. And he's like, all right, I'm going to go grab lunch. Do y'all want some Burger King? And it's like, dude.
That's so funny. That's so funny.
Dude, I just imagine that because it's like, especially with people like who came up hard. Like, I think Eminem is a good example of that. And there have been so many different people who have a similar story that I can't even mention like half of them. But you know, he came up broke and now he has money, and he I'm pretty sure he did an interview with someone where he called his accountant and asked if he could afford a Rolex. And then the guy responded with, "You could buy that entire store." And Eminem was like, "But can I buy the Rolex?" And he was like, "Yeah, you can." Because he was like, you know, it hadn't like set in like, I can buy these things and it's okay. You know, like sometimes you just got to kind of be like, you know, I'm going to go order something off the dollar menu at Taco Bell. I do that shit all the time. I can afford to get whatever I want from there. Yeah. But I'm still just like, fuck it, man. I don't want to spend a shit ton of money. I
just need a taco, bro. Man, fucking shit, man. Shit, you know? Like,
dude, I get 4 things for like $5. And I'm like, fuck
they're
yeah,
just
bro.
giving it away, Zach. Come on, no? Why would I not? You know, of course I'm going to indulge.
I am a man of taste, but I understand a good bargain.
I just find it so funny. Like I just a picture, right? Like Drake or something. Like just be like, you know, talking about going to like, you know, Red Lobster every 5 seconds or every day or whatever, and then like finishing the studio session. Like I'm gonna go to let's hit up Panda real quick. I'm kind of hungry.
Bro, I'm digging a 4 for 4 right now.
That's so funny, but it's true. That's basically how it is with, like, you know, music and stuff. Because there's nothing I'm down with the normie music. I'm down to listen to Lil Uzi and stuff like that, you know?
Yeah.
It's nothing wrong. I love listening to this type of stuff. But I'm not gonna say that some of these songs that people think are good are even close to mediocre. Some of them are shit, bro. And everybody knows it. Like I said, I usually have aux at work. Yo, I'm so sorry for this tangent. I'm so sorry. I need to ask you, Zach. Do kids still say aux? Or do they say like, can you pass the Bluetooth?
I don't know.
You don't know? I don't know either. Because there are younger there are younger people in my at my job as well, high schoolers, right? But as of right now, aux is still technically a thing, you know, auxiliary, you know, connecting, and you know, in most cases, in most cars, people are still connecting, you know, aux to, it might be a dongle, but it's still aux. But at some point, aux is not going to exist. So what the fuck are they going to call it, Zach? Zach, if I'm like 80 and I'm driving my grandson, and my grandson, hey, Pops, pass me the BT.
It's probably not even gonna be Bluetooth anymore.
Zach, I'm gonna kick this kid out the car.
Going freeway speed.
It's like, I don't know. No chance. No chance he just said, pass me the Bluetooth. No, that's no fucking way he did that. Aux, even if it is gone, I feel like that's so universal. I feel like it's fine, you know? I feel like even though, but at some point, when everything wireless is fast and affordable, then it'll just not exist anymore. So what are we going to cling on to aux? I remember there was a saying, there's a really common phrase, a common saying or something like that had to do with, oh no, it was a funny one. It was like it was something along the lines of like pushing your buttons or whatever. And then it's like, oh, what are buttons? You know, like the kid's like, oh, what are buttons? You know, it's just, you know, or something like that. It's not that one. I'm just throwing you an example, but there's a joke similar to that. But that makes me think, like, at some point there is no aux. There's going to be no aux, whether it's in our lifetime or not. Are they gonna say, "Can you pass the?" There's no way they're gonna say, "Pass the Bluetooth, Zach." That sounds so stupid.
I feel like it's gonna be something like, "Hey, yo, let me be DJ." Like, let me be
DJ. Maybe it has to be, bro. If a kid tells me Bluetooth, I'm kicking them out.
I don't care.
No, I'm slamming. I'm telling them to take the seatbelt off, and I'm gonna slam the brakes.
Going straight out the windshield.
I'm not letting a kid tell me to pass the Bluetooth, Zach. That's not happening. There's no way.
Pass the aux or
it
let
doesn't
me be
even
DJ.
roll off the tongue right, you know? Pass the aux. It's the aux,
either pass the aux, or let me be DJ,
or let me
hit the jam jams.
Hey, can I play music on my phone? I'd prefer that.
I would prefer
like a whole ass sentence.
Hey, can I use my cellular device to play music through the speakers of your vehicle?
I would prefer that to hey yo, pass the Bluetooth.
Pass the
Get
Bluetooth.
the fuck out of
No,
my car.
Don't tell me that. That's so cringy. I don't care if that's boomer talk. No, I need to know. I have to ask some kids. Well, yeah, I don't. Well, I mean, I don't associate myself with like a bunch of like younger folk anymore, so I don't really know. Like,
just imagine walking up to a group of teenagers acting like a senile old man.
Do you kids still say pass the aux?
bro, there's no way. I refuse to believe it. If not anything but Bluetooth, because Bluetooth can mean anything. Aux means
Pass the dongle.
pass the pass the dongle, bro.
Dude, I feel like we're gonna end up going around and around in circles, but yeah, I'm fucking tired.
Yeah, we're probably.
I've been here since
good.
noon.
Yeah, it's been a long day. A lot of, as I mentioned in the beginning, a lot has changed. A lot of work has been put into where we're at right now. I say a lot has changed, not necessarily on camera, but a lot, like a lot has changed. Trust me.
Oh yeah.
So, thank you guys for the ride. We apologize again for the no episode last week, but we're back on it. It's all good. We'll catch you guys. I think I think I'm not able to record this coming week, so we might only do one episode next week. But the week after, we should be chilling if we want to do a couple episodes, back to 2 episodes.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I say this all the time. If there's anything that you guys want us to talk about, anything you want to hear our opinions on, let us know in the comments. Cause like we literally talk about anything. So yeah. I would love to be able to get some feedback, have some certain topics that people want us to talk about. I think that'd be pretty dope. So, yeah, if you like this video, hit the like button. If you didn't like it, there's another button there too.
We'll never know though. Nobody will ever know if you did.
We'll never know.
Well, we'll know, I guess, but nobody will else know. There's no point in doing it.
Yikes. Yikes. If you're listening to us on Spotify, I'm sorry if you couldn't tell, but a lot of things have changed.
True.
Yeah, so we're on Spotify. We have a coffee link down below. If you want to donate directly to us, all the money that we end up getting from anybody is basically going to go straight back to this. So, it'll help us be able to buy better tables.
Hey man, this table's pretty good. It's pretty good. I mean, it's kind of scuffed, but
kind of
it works. It's all good. I don't have much leg room, but it's okay. We're here.
I'm just giving you a hard time. But
thank you guys, everybody. That's what we're going with. Peace out.
I love you.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.